themselves. I think, to be fair, that says as much about you as it does about me. Friends, before I speak about Chevening, let me say this is a somber day in my country, and we mourn very deeply those who died yesterday in the attacks in Westminster. We pray with their families. We pray also with those injured in those attacks. We feel as if the heart of our democracy, the mother of our parliaments, the values that we stand for, has been attacked, and we feel that very deeply. But in another sense, nothing has changed today. Millions of Londoners got up this morning and went to work. Hundreds of thousands of school kids got up this morning in London and went to school. Parliament resumed its business. My colleagues in the ministries in Whitehall, I walked to work across that bridge every morning when I worked in London, went to work. Life has not changed, as Matthew said, in one jot or tittle between yesterday and today. And that is the important thing. I grew up with this in London. I grew up with Irish terrorism in London. I've seen, as you have in the UK, as you have in Kenya, a threat of terrorism of all kinds. And the important thing is that it has not changed either what we stand for or how we live our lives, and that is why we will win and not the terrorists. Friends, it's a real pleasure to see so many Chevening scholars and alumni here this evening, and it's been inspirational to hear the stories of Chevening alumni that have been recounted in the course of this evening already. This is a programme that matters enormously to the UK, and it matters enormously to the UK here in Kenya. We have a very deep connection with this country. We have a shared history with moments of deep pain, and we must live with that and acknowledge that. But our history has also forged between us a fabric of connection that binds our countries together. And we are determined that this connection be as much about the future as it was about the past. Chevening is a key part of building that future together between the United Kingdom and Kenya. And we think that you've done a good thing by choosing to go to the UK, by choosing to keep up those links. We have 4 of the world's top 6 universities, according to the international rankings. More Kenyans go to the UK than nationals of any other country in Africa bar Nigeria, and Nigeria is 4 times your size, so you couldn't expect to compete there. But Kenya is second in countries in Africa. 2,500 Kenyans go to study in the United Kingdom every year. And Chevening represents the very elite. Almost 2,000 people apply for the Chevening Scholarship here in Kenya every year. And although we have doubled, if not tripled, the number of scholars in the last few years, and I'm enormously proud of that, we still select about 30 every year. So of those 2,000 already highly qualified, inspirational individuals, 30 get this great honour of a Chevening Scholarship. You represent something really special, and I'm really delighted that the Alumni Association will bring that network, that specialness to bear, not just during the time of your study in the United Kingdom, but for the rest of your lives. This is a connection not just between us and you, but between all of you with each other that we are very keen to foster. I don't know if anyone knows why Chevening is called Chevening, but Chevening House is a rather large, and because I've stayed the night there, very, very cold in the winter, country house in Kent. It was the seat of the Earls of Stanhope, and when the last Earl of Stanhope died without issue, he left it to the nation to be the home of the Foreign Secretary. So the Foreign Secretary's official residence, what you would call the Cabinet Secretary for Foreign Affairs, is in Chevening, hence the name of the programme. And I think the House's history has a lot to say about this kind of programme. I was looking up what the Earls of Stanhope, before their line died out, had done. So the first was a general under Marlborough and chief minister to King George I in the 18th century, that was a while back. The second was a patron of science. The fourth was a landscape gardener, architect and guardian of Caspar Hauser. The fifth founded the National Portrait Gallery in London, near Trafalgar Square, and the Historical Documents Commission, and established the Stanhope Essay Prize at Oxford. The sixth was a Conservative MP, the first Ecclesiastical Estates Commissioner, and a politician. The seventh was Secretary of State for War. This was before we started calling it defence, which was a little bit more diplomatic. And President of the Interparliamentary Union and President of the Save the Children Fund in its very early days. And the seventh held cabinet office between 1924 and 1940 for 16 years under Baldwin and Chamberlain, founded the National Maritime Museum. But my favourite, whom I missed out, as you will have seen if you paid attention, is the third Earl of Stanhope, who was a great inventor. He invented things in printing, optics, musical notation. He invented a mechanical calculator, steam navigation. How do you do steam navigation? I've no idea, but he invented it anyway. And fireproofing in buildings, which sounds quite important. All of this would have been fantastic if he hadn't decided to become something of a communist, styled himself Citizen Stanhope, and been excluded from the British establishment for eccentricity and political radicalism. Now, I think this chap, I've not read any more about him than what I've told you, but I think he rather embodies the values of Chevening. He's obviously a great intellect, as his predecessors and successors clearly were from what I've told you. He was obviously a very creative and highly intelligent individual, but he had an engagement in politics and he had a character about him. And I think those things all speak to the values that Chevening espouses. Not everyone in this room is the same. None of you is selected according to a template. You're all selected for the unique qualities that you bring, but together you represent a diversity which is similar in its intelligence and its engagement, but very different in the way it chooses to go about that. And I think that is something enormously to be celebrated. I'll put aside my pages about the third Earl of Stanhope. You are part of 43,000 Chevening alumni in 150 countries across the world. Here in Kenya, you count among you 2 cabinet secretaries, 2 lady justices, principal secretaries, members of Kenyan life in all walks of that life. And you create a platform. A number of people have talked this evening about a platform for engagement, a platform for taking Kenya where you want to take it. I think that is enormously powerful, and I want to salute what the committee has done to bring Chevenings together and to engage them in the issues that matter most to Kenya. I want to end with a couple of thank yous. Jane, I want to thank you and your committee for the leadership that you have shown in getting us to this point. So many have been through Chevening. So many have been through Chevening and value that experience, but it takes real leadership to bring the alumni together, and I think you've done that fantastically, so I salute that. And I want to thank Danielle from my team in the High Commission, Danielle Morissette, our Chevening officer. Aparna, who's sitting next to her, would you stand up for a moment, Aparna? Aparna is now taking over the baton as Chevening officer, so if you haven't got to know Aparna, please do welcome. Danielle has very justifiably been promoted to been promoted to an even more important job within the High Commission, and we congratulate her on that. But I know that Chevening would not be where it is in Kenya today without the work that Danielle has put in, and I'm enormously proud to count you as a colleague, Danielle. So thank you very much. That's all I have to say. But the cake has appeared. So I look for guidance to Madam Chairperson as to what I'm to do with it.
Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate it. And thank you.